we picked a fun topic, 12 months into the future, right? So who's governing your data? So it's not like, I mean, obviously we cannot predict anything beyond 12 months nowadays. And it's not like flying cars or, building colonies in Mars. It's just 12 months. So and it's our point of view. So a couple of words about Quest software and about myself. So Quest software has been in the business for over 30 years, 45,000 customers. In particular, we focus on data management as well as identity management, which is cybersecurity. My name is Yetkin. I'm not as long as Quest has been around, but I'll tell you my first project was Y2K way back in the year 2000. So we have been going through the COBOL code and trying to convert those 2 digits to 4 digits. So here we are, right, after so many years. So what we will do today is, so we will get in a time machine and we will go to year 2028, and we have our data steward, Maya, and we'll take a look at a day in the life of Maya, her activities, how is she managing her data, how is she governing, and we will compare how do we do things today. And while doing so, after we've done this exercise of time machine, we'll look at how do we get there, like how is the market is going to change. And it's all predictions, and you guys know it might be true or false, so we'll see same time next year. So let's begin with Maya. How many of you guys are data stewards or doing some sort of data stewardship job? All right, there's a few. So Maya is your good old data steward. She leads the data platform and governance team. She reports into CDO, and her jobs are, trusted data for AI and govern daily operations and keep an eye on the policies and the violations. So that's Maya, that's our character. So if we go to the next slide, so let's look at her calendar, right? So what we did here is, that's her calendar, which are very typical tasks like you guys might be doing today. And we compared it, how we are doing it today versus how things will change tomorrow. So let's begin with the policy. So policies, as you guys know, data policies, right? It's a combination of rules and the procedures and rules which describes how you store the data, how you collect the data, how you manage your data. It's kind of your framework, right? A data policy is your framework. And your data policies usually refer to other policies, regulations such as GDPR, such as if you're in a banking environment, you have more regulations there, in healthcare, other type of regulations. So a data policy describes everything what you need to do with your data. Like, how do we do it today? So there's usually some people who open these large documents, usually 100-page plus. They go through the document, they look at what this document describes, what type of data is being addressed here, what type of obligations do we have, what type of rules, and somebody understands these rules and enters into the system so that those policies are applied, right? And then quarterly or maybe annually, you go through some reviews, you check your policies, are there any violations, are there any exceptions? And oftentimes those violations go undetected until the next review, right? Fast forward 2028, Maya, she has real-time policies. So in 2028, the policies are machine-readable form, or even if it's not machine-readable, GenAI can read it, break it down automatically, and associate it with the data, and turn them into actions, and apply those actions. And the policies are being enforced in real time, and a minute a violation is being realized, and there's some actions, and Maya can go ahead and take corrective actions, right? So it's basically, from a policy management, you are always compliant, and the minute you are out of compliant, you are aware, so you have your actions, you can go ahead and execute it. Another typical task is, even nowadays, all these different business teams are coming to Maya and saying, hey, look, we need data for this, we are building an AI system, Can you please provide us the data? And today, and again, the statistics say is, like 80% of your time you spend on trying to find the data. Even if you find the data, you don't know if it's the right data. You don't know if you have data quality issues. Sometimes you might be out of compliance because there are some sensitive data in there. So it's kind of a hassle today. So tomorrow, when Maya sits down with the business associates, so she goes through the use case. She says, okay, for your use case, this is the data you need. And by the way, this is your trust score. This is your bias score. This is your data quality score. And here's your data model. Here's your semantics. And she delivers the data within minutes, right? Because that's the pace you need tomorrow. Let's go to the next one. Again, today, I think most of us, I'm looking at the audience, correct me if I'm wrong, most organizations have some AI systems in production, right? 10, 15, maybe less, maybe more, but still a manageable number, right? So you can know at a given time how many AI systems you have working. An MIT report, you guys all seen the MIT report, 95% of the AI systems don't deliver the value, they fail to deliver the ROI. We get this, we are still trying to get there, but we know we will get there. Fast forward a year. Maya is dealing with hundreds of agents. And agents governing agents, what we call guardian agents, right? So you have an LLM, you can ask questions, and there is another agent sits on top of it saying, fact checking, this answer is correct, this answer is not correct. And there are agents coordinating other agents. So there's a inflation of agents and AI models and systems. And Maya's role here is to keep an eye on the data, to keep an eye on the systems across hundreds of AI systems and catch things before they happen. What does it mean? There's a data drift happening here, so data is changing, or there's a data quality issue happening, or there's an upstream change in the data. So she will take preemptive actions to prevent these issues happening with the AI systems. And by the way, I'll bring up a topic here, AI-trism. How many of you guys heard AI-trism? It's a kind of a Gartner word, okay? So it's short for trust, risk, and security management. It's a concept being thrown by Gartner. I mean, if you guys haven't read about it, I recommend Google it. So it's kind of how you manage these many agents, how you manage these many systems in a nice framework. So it keeps going. So I think you guys get the idea by now. Maya is not an actual human being. She's an agent. She's an agent representing the data governance team. So all these actions, what Maya does, is actually being done by the AI agents with the assistance of the people. So that's, we are not kidding. So this is what we are envisioning, and this is what we are focusing, and this is what we are working to deliver today. A year from now, you will have the Mayas of the world taking care of this. So how do we get there, right? So I'll articulate 3 concepts to keep an eye on. So let's start simple, active metadata. I think most of you guys have heard what active metadata means. Typically, how I describe active metadata versus passive metadata is, think about a map, right? A map on a paper, you have the cities, street names, you can look at it, you can figure out a road from A to B. That is passive metadata, right? You don't use it unless you look at the map. Think about your GPS navigation application. It's active metadata. So it's reading in live, real-time traffic information and rerouting you to different paths. It's telling you where to go so that you can reach your goal. So that's the difference. And active metadata is key to be able to feed the agents like Maya so that they know what's going on, what's happening. So a good example is, hey, by the way, I just realized somebody created another data set here, which is exactly a duplicate of this data set here. Do we really need both of them? Or, hey, I have a data quality issue here. What do I do now? Do I go to the source system and address it? So active metadata is one of the key components of tomorrow's data governance, right? Next thing, we have agents, right? And today, even today, at Quest, we got our hands dirty with the agents. We already have couple of agents running in our software, and it's easy. I mean, these agents are capable of doing a lot of things, a lot of things. It's not the problem of running the agents. It's the problem of where do I draw the line, right? Like, do I let the agent to go ahead and take action? Where does the human come in? Like, does it require my approval? Or do I just let the agent do what it is and look at the audit files and figure out what it did? So these agents, along with the access management, which pretty much monitors the permissions of the agents, will be the key. And as you guys know, I mean, we were debating about how long does it take you to trust an agent to do a work. Well, nowadays it's just 5 to 10 minutes. Right? I mean, after a while, you just trust, you just say, okay, I authorize you from here on these kind of actions. You can just go ahead and do it by yourself, right? But these things are important because you need to be able to tell what agent did what, right? And you need to have the audit and all these zero trust. So these are the three main components of tomorrow's data governance world. All right, so let's take a step back. So this is what we think from a Quest perspective. And this is kind of a high-level architecture of our, what we call our data catalog, data management platform. So a lot of things are same. I'll just highlight a couple of things, like unstructured data obviously becomes as important as the structured data. So whatever we apply today for structured data, let's say data quality or extract metadata or let's say there's PII in it, let's go ahead and, redact it. All these things what you apply to the structured, it goes into the unstructured. Every catalog needs a Gen AI engine so that you can quickly create definitions, create data models, create policies, create business rules. So that Gen AI engine is necessary to be able to quickly create artifacts what you need. And then the user interface, say no more. I don't think anybody will be using any user interface without the chat. Like, people will be so used to coming in, like ChatGPT, you guys know it, describe what you want to see and then get what you want. People will not look for buttons, like where do I click to do what? No, like just tell me what you need, I'll get you what you need. Recommendation engine will be important because like all these active metadata, all these things happening, you need to bring them to the surface, to the human, and say, look, this is what's happening, why, and this is what I recommend you do, and this is what happens if you don't take action or if you take a different action. So these recommendation engines will help you with your options, and for each option it will tell you, this is what will happen if you choose this path, right? And we'll talk about this part, how your data governance tool will communicate with the rest of the organization, with the rest of the... But I'll tell you one thing, like I was sitting in a meeting with our development team, they keep saying MCP activation, MCP. It's pretty much, think about it as an API, which the LLMs and the AI systems can also plug in and talk to your system. So these MCP and these APIs are important, which we will come later. So this is Quest view, right? Let's go a little bit further. Let me check how we are doing with the time, by the way, all right? This is Gartner's view. So Gartner came up sometime this year, April and May, and they made a, they always look at the future and they say, okay, look, we are looking at a converge into a single platform. So why? You have so many tools today in your data management platform. So you have ETL tools, data quality tools, data lineage tools, data governance tools, this and that. And all these tools have overlaps. Gen AI will force organizations to modernize their stack. As the organizations modernize their stack, they will try to get rid of the overlaps and less used technologies. And eventually, the platforms will converge into single vendor solutions. So you will say Quest data management platform, I don't know, IBM data management platform. And pretty much if you look at the timeline, this is what Gartner predicts. So we are coming from point solutions. I have all these different tools in my landscape. I'm trying to get to data fabric, nice layers, but honestly, I haven't seen a single organization being able to implement data fabric. It's difficult, it's hard. What they are saying is, this is going to come as next. And ideally, after that, once we establish these converged data management platforms, you will be able to replace each one of these components so that you will get out of the vendor lock-in. But short term, you are looking at vendor lock-in. So that's Gartner's prediction. And now, one important aspect here is, like I said, agents. Like, most of the work in the data management space will be done by agents. So that means agents have to speak agents. They need to be interoperable. Today, we don't have a global interoperability. So like today, from a Quest perspective, I cannot just say, this is my data product and Databricks take my data product and go with it. Those standards have not been established yet. Hence, single vendor lock-in will happen in the short term. So at the end of the day, what you want to do is, you don't want to deal with all this complexity. Forget this thing. You will be able to say with a chat interface, look, these are the reports I need. Produce these reports every day, 9 a.m. Check, I got you. Here, I need this data. All right, here's the data. Check, I got you. So this is how the future of data management platform is expected to work. And all this complexity will be covered by the modern data management platforms, the agents, inactive metadata, and of course, what comes with it is the identity management as well, right? So that's Gartner's perspective. So let's make it a little bit more fun. Let's push the boundaries. Like, now we are like, it's a long shot, okay? Digital CEO. So like we all talk about, yeah, AI is going to replace the workforce. Oh my God, am I going to keep my job? What's going to happen? What's going to happen with my son? Is he going to get a job? And all these workforce, what about the CEOs? What about the CFOs? Like, all these decisions being made, like, how are we making these decisions? So of course, I'm like, joking aside, and this digital CEO idea has been around for a while, and thank you, Mike, my colleague here, he and I talked about it a little bit, but how often do you guys find yourself in a situation, hey man, look, I have a real great idea. I need to run it by my CEO and get his input, and maybe he will like it, and you know, it will turn into some value for us, right? But good luck getting in the calendar of your CEO, right? I mean, but how about if there is an agent there which says, hey, I'm your CEO now. It's a twin of your CEO. You still have your real CEO, by the way. And then you just go run your idea by this digital twin CEO. And it says, yeah, Yetkin, it's a great idea, but you know, why don't you look at from this angle, or why don't you look at from that angle? And think about from the CEO's perspective. Like, anytime they are making a decision, yeah, do I acquire this company? Do I roll out this product? Or do I do this? Like, you can easily run these what-if scenarios by a Gen AI engine, and then you can see the options in front of you, and then you can see the pros and cons, and it improves your decision-making, you know, much faster, much more accurate, data-driven. But how do you get there? In order to get there, you need to be able to trust your data, right? Like, if you don't trust your data, like, how am I going to trust that the decisions I'm making make sense? So we gathered a ton of other ideas here. I'm not going to go too much in detail. So again, this is us, this is Quest, this is us looking at this data management space, and these are the ideas we put, and so most of them are in our roadmap. Most of them we are already getting our hands dirty trying to get. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to go too much in detail, but I'll pick one. This is my favorite. Like, nowadays, everybody loves it, and I'm not going to steal the thunder. So you will see tomorrow this one live. I'll talk about it. So think about, I'm trying to build an AI system or a report or whatever the analytics. And I need data. Where do I find this data? How much I can trust this data? Where is this data? and give me the data, give me the metadata, give me a trust score, give me a bias score, and deliver this to me as a data product within minutes. And this is what we just built, and if you guys come over to our booth, J80, we can demo it for you, or tomorrow you will see a live presentation of this. So by the way, beyond 2000, how many of you guys know what that means? I didn't know. So apparently it's a show. So I didn't know. So beyond 2000, so what's next? Like, what are we looking at? So tomorrow, my colleague Mike O'Donnell here, so they will be speaking in the Data and AI Strategy Theater, and they are going to provide this use case, which I just described to you guys, live. It's going to be a fun session. And like I said, if you guys come to our booth, we'll show you guys this thing live. So basically, you just throw a use case at it, and it comes back with a data model and the data and data product. So it's fun. I mean, so far all our customers love it. So what to look for, and I'm wrapping up, and I'll open up some questions at the end. So of course, what you look for is just look for the Erwin logo, okay? So, by the way, joking aside, I'll talk a little bit, like 5 minutes, on how we built our platforms, what do we focus on, and what's important for us. So, Erwin Data Platform, Erwin Data Modeling, and Erwin Data Intelligence are two products today, and we have been around, like I said, over 30 years. I bet a lot of you guys have used Erwin Data Modeler in the past. Erwin Data Intelligence, some of you might know, some of you might not know. And we have all these data modeling, data quality, data lineage, these point solutions already out there. So what we did is we brought them all together in this one platform, and we focused on three things: trust, context, and accessibility. So for trust, we are looking at 9 different aspects of the data. Like if we are having a casual conversation, hey man, look, I have this data set, do you trust it? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I would trust it. Or I would say, I don't know, I don't trust it. But how do we quantify it? Like, how do you say it's 70%, 80%, 90%? Like, what would you look for? Well, does it have good data quality? Is it coming from the right source? Has it been maintained properly? Has it been popular? Things like that. So between all these things, we calculate a trust score. A trust score is a number between 0 and 100. And if it is above a threshold, we call it gold. So the minute you have a gold stamp on your data product, that means it's a good data product. I can use it with confidence. So trust is number one. We believe that trust is something should be quantifiable. Trust is not something you hold your thumb in the air saying, yeah, I don't know. People use this data, that means it's trusted. No, we calculate it. Number two is the context. Like we all know, semantic layer, the context. Without that, AI cannot function. I mean, let alone people cannot function. If I just throw you a JSON file or a table and say, go figure this thing out, like how much can you figure it out from that? I need to provide you a logical data model. I need to provide you the definitions. I need to provide you the business rules. So all these things, so you can make sense of that data, which we call the context, the semantic layer, and we believe that's part of the data product, right, along with the data. And the third piece is the data has to be accessible by humans and non-humans. I should be able to snap my fingers and find the data. So today, for humans, we have the marketplace, so you can come in, like chat with marketplace and say, look, this is what I'm looking for, and like, okay, here's what you need. And also similarly for non-humans, like I told you guys, MCP activation, so the AI systems, the agents should be coming in and saying, look, I'm looking for a data as such. Here's the API for you, go in, get access to the data if you have the permissions, roll with it. So that's pretty much the backbone of our system. And as we are doing so, we again, obviously, you need all these AI infrastructure. Like, I'll be honest, we have rebuilt our entire platform, like from a technology stack perspective. And there are words our developers use, I cannot even pronounce them. But at the end of the day, you are sitting on an AI framework where you have all these capabilities like natural language and semantics and things like that. So your platform, every action you do, you think in terms of APIs, in terms of capabilities, in terms of agents, and then you think about, okay, like what do I let this agent to do? So that's pretty much the current state of our platform. And like I said, I mean, we are looking at a fun feature. Today, I mean, we are saving time more and more. I mean, I read it somewhere, people were saying in general, like, not from data management, they are like, we're gonna look back a year ago and we're gonna say, oh my God, how long did we spend to do things, simple things in the past? So this is what we will be saying a year from now. We will look back and say, oh man, policy management, I cannot believe we spent hours and months and weeks on this thing. Now it's like a couple of minutes. So this is what we expect. So like I said, this is the summary. If you guys want to talk more, I'm at J80 and we have tomorrow another session. You will see something live. So they had the fun part. So I have to present slides. These guys are going to present the cool part. So I feel like I think I have time to take a couple of questions if you guys want to say something. Microphone. Yeah, thank you.
You use the terms like data fabric. Do you mean the product Microsoft?
No,
data
in
fabric?
general. So the question was, when I say data fabric, do I refer to Microsoft data fabric? No. It's the concept of data fabric, which consists of the layers.
The layers. And then the same, you use the term Copilot also. The Copilot.
Yeah, Copilot, it's not the Microsoft's Copilot. Again, we used it so that people understand what it is.
All right.
Yes. All right, I guess that's it. Thank you very much, everyone.
Sorry, it was turned off. Right. I realised it was turned off. Oh, okay. I don't know, but I don't think I don't know. Somebody may go.